live. Yeah, yeah, we going live. Hey, hey, we going live. Yeah, yeah, we going live. Yeah, yeah, we going. Yeah, yeah, we going. Yeah, 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 we going live. From the 50-yard line, we going live. From the 50-yard line, we going live. From the 50-yard line. Hey.
Hello, beautiful people.
Hello, hello, hello.
I am Jarrett, the football genius Burgess.
And I am Stephanie Fitzpatrick, aka the Advantage Coach.
And I was about to say we got a guest, but this family right here.
No, it's family now. You know, again, he can go get his own Kool-Aid. We're not doing that. Absolutely.
You go ahead in the refrigerator yourself.
Yes.
So I call him Coach Flea. Stephanie refuses to call him that.
I refuse to call him Coach Flea.
But I'm going to let him introduce himself.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me again. It's always a pleasure to be with you guys. And the first time was definitely a blast. And let's do it again. And Coach Flea, original government name is Coach Gary Harrell, but at Jackson State University, loving what I do with prime time. Yeah. But thank you for having me.
Yeah,
thank you you were right. I mean, quick. I loved it. It was like, okay, let's
always available.
I appreciate that.
We certainly appreciate it.
Yeah.
So I mean, just off the top, man, what's been happening with you? I mean, well, we can see, we can clearly see a difference. Yeah. But what's been happening with you, man, since the last time we got to talk to you?
I would say, man, mostly just a lot of growth. A lot of development. Okay. Building relationships. God's been good for me, man. Coming from Florida Atlantic, going to Alabama State, and within those 2 or 3 year span, man, just to connect with Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, and just to, have some conversation before he became head coach at Jackson State, and some of the things we spoke about, and a lot of things that came from the heart. And he's a guy that's built on loyalty, and it kind of felt on his spirit. And he always told me, man, if I ever become a head coach, everybody thought that it was something that just spoken upon, but he was definitely serious about it, something he wanted to get accomplished. And when that happened, he always wanted me to join forces with him, just because of my background, being a head coach, being an HBCU guy, just to be there with him hand to hand as we continue to build this program.
That's amazing. And what a program you all are building.
Right.
We see y'all.
Yes.
It was awesome. Being one of the number one watch program in the country means a lot.
Yeah. I'm there. Every time I see it on, I'm right there watching.
It takes a lot. It takes a lot. Sure. It takes the administration to be on board. So hats off to our athletic director, Ashley Robinson, man, who saw the vision and who was had the courage to make it happen. Because it's not an easy task. You deal with someone of that magnitude, you just don't know unknown uncertainties. And he was able to pull it off. And we are where we are today because all the moving parts and all the people involved understood where we're trying to go.
Yeah. So that kind of brings us to our next question. Like, how do you see what you all are doing at Jackson State as even and just what you mentioned, Coach Prime being such a huge, he's not just it's a personality, it's a entity almost with him, right? And so how do you see that changing the landscape of college football, period, but specifically HBCU football and sports?
I mean, I think you kind of said as far as the what he's bringing, as far as, I want to say awareness. I like to use the word exposure. Yeah. I think he's able to bring a lot of attention to what we are doing, but not just at Jackson State. The intention of Coach Prime is to shine a light on all HBCUs. To show what can happen. So it's about the expectation. It's about the exposure. It's about, like you said, almost as far as even out the playing fields where we're able to attract some of those top athletes, get the alumni involved. We have a strong alumni base. And we always know that everyone that plays the game of football, everyone that plays sports on different levels, understand where is the missing important parts. You know, if you build the foundation, if you have the support, if you have the resources, and you're able to attract the right talent when it comes to, for us here at Jackson State, we believe in far as character and our 4 core values. When we're looking at a guy, Coach Brian believe in, they got to be smart, they got to be fast, they got to be tough, they got to be disciplined. Those are the 4 things that we harp on. And not just
say those again. Say those again.
You got to be smart, you got to be fast, you got to be tough, and you got to be disciplined. So when we're looking at an individual, they got to check all boxes. You're going to ask, is he smart? You know, he's fast, is he tough, is he disciplined? If he's 2 out of 4, he's not a guy for Jackson State. You know, if he's 3 out of 4, when you bring him, you better make sure it works, because he's going to make sure that he's watching and see how that guy developed. If a guy check all 4 boxes, we know we got the right guy for the program. Right, we say smart, not just smart in the classroom. We expect that, but just making the right decisions. You know, fast, not running 4.3, not running, you know, the fast times. You know, just making the right decision quickly. You know, so we're talking about all those things. Of course, being disciplined and being tough. If we find a guy that does all those things, we know that what we're trying to build is going to happen very, very quickly. Yeah. But what he's doing right now, to answer your question, is amazing. And I think he comes in on a daily basis, always trying to think of ideas to be ahead, to show the rest of the HBCUs when it comes from the president down to the ADs, to the board of trustees, all those involved. You know, if you go ahead and put the resources in for these young men and women, you know, this is the results that you can get. You can be on ESPN every week. You know, you can build a product that's attractive to the people in this country, and they want to see that. So it's a wonderful thing that he's doing, and he's ahead of the curve. He's an amazing guy. You know, he thinks very creatively, and he believes in these people. When he first got the job, the first conversation we had, when I asked him why he wants to do this, he simply says it's time to help our own people, and that's the movement. That's what he's trying to create. You know, just help people that's involved in this industry and be a leader just by action.
Yeah, no, I love it. That's amazing.
Oh yes,
that's amazing. I love the cutting edge thought process, right? Like you know. If we build it, they will come kind of attitude.
That's right.
Feel the dreams.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that.
I remember. Oh no, go ahead, Steph. I'm sorry.
No, I'm good. Go ahead. You know, I could ask questions all day. So
I want you to ask the next one, right? Okay. But I'm gonna just jump this one. Actually, this isn't a question. I was just thinking about, I remember when I heard the news that Coach Brown was going to be taking over as head coach. And initially when I saw it, like, you know how when you're in the middle of something, you may see like a headline or something like that, and you don't see it correctly, and you got to go back and look and like, hey, what's this? So I saw that. I saw that headline and I got hyped, you know what I'm saying? Because I know the type of person, I mean, you can see the type of personality he has. And he knows football, and bringing that to an HBCU was just huge for not just Jackson State, but all HBCUs. And then when I saw that you were joining the staff, you know, I got super excited because I just, you know, I think about, you know, the impact you had on me. And you weren't even my position coach, but the impact you had on me at Howard University, and just, you know, some of the things that, you know, as a coach, you could see that you care for your players off of the field. And so just to see, you know, you being a part of that, you know what I'm saying, for me, for someone who has been around you, who has, you know, seen the level of care that you have for your players was just, you know, overwhelming, you know what I'm saying? Because it was already huge news, but to see it kind of be stacked together, like, was just, like I said, overwhelming. But I just wanted to throw that in there. I know, you know what I'm saying, we were asking questions, but I was thinking about that next question, Steph. And it made me think about that in that moment.
No, that's a good segue, because I think that's part of, like, that's why I wanted you to repeat those 4 things, because I knew it was beyond just what it sounded like. So I'm glad you went and you like expounded on those things, because it's not just you didn't mean fast like a 4-2, like you meant a bunch of things, right? That's like I need a good decision and being able to be
right decision. That's right.
Right. And so that brings us to kind of the next question. And like, you know what we do, like outside of this podcast, our thing is trying to help student athletes, collegiate student athletes in that making sure that they're whole when they make transition from what sport, whether that be after college or after pros, right? We want them to be well-informed and well-rounded and understand who they are completely, right? So with Field to the Real Project, that's what we try to do. We want to, come in and be that extra support for the players and informing them and helping them understand who they are outside of the sport, so that they can be making right decisions, like you just said, even about their time while they're in college. Don't just be in school just because you want to play football and be on TV. Like, literally, what are you doing with your education, whether it's free or not? What are you doing with it? You know what I mean? And so that's our passion in this. And so I wanted to ask you, how do you think a program like ours could assist an HBCU athlete, especially considering, so as a life coach, that's what I do for a living. And so as a life coach, I've seen the uptick of people who are even seeking me out because of COVID. And it's given a lot of people a different perspective, right, on their lives. I'm just existing. I'm not living, or I'm not even working or operating in my purpose. I'm just out here doing something to make money, I feel like it's an opportunity for us to help these young men and women see, you know what I mean? Like who they are outside of the sport, so that they're well-rounded and know who they are. So my question is, how do you see our program being able to help us in a situation, even like at Jackson State, for instance?
Right. Yeah. And I think you kind of, a lot of hearing you speak, a lot of words came out that kind of like pretty much answer the question as far as like opportunities, purpose, just creating opportunities, continue to do what you guys do. Like we spoke last time, being a platform. I think that this disbursement of information is always important. Anytime you can have conversation with young men, young women, and just generally just give your experience, some of the things that you have been through in life, and just try to see where they are, like you just said, as far as you said opportunity, you said, purpose, saying who they are, and those things kind of, when you talk to them, engage with them. I think the biggest thing, like you said, with COVID and the pandemic, everything that's been going on, there's already been some type of disconnect through, because of social media. A lot of kids communicate differently how we communicate. And it's just as far as getting on campus and creating that platform, creating those programs where they're more hands-on, where the interaction is more face-to-face, where they're able to have those type conversations when it comes to interviews, creating networking ideas, creating internships. That's a lot of things what we find out on this campus. A lot of men, at the age that's juniors, some seniors, they still lack. They don't get those experiences, and you just want to get to them before it's too late. So just keep doing what you're doing as far as creating that platform and just creating opportunities. And but that's the biggest thing. We talk about it here. We had a pastor come in and speak with us, and he mentioned that word purpose. A lot of kids just got to figure out their purpose in life, and we got to help them to understand. Because it gets scary for them. When you become a senior in that last semester, we all been there, but some of us had a plan. They don't have a plan. They don't know that next step.
That's right.
They don't know that next step. And it gets kind of scary for them.
Yeah, I know. I was on Clubhouse maybe about 2 months ago, and there was a female head football coach for a high school team in Pennsylvania on the call with us, and one of her players was on the call as well, and he made the comment, like, I think he was a junior, and he made the comment about they're taught not to think about anything but plan A, which is get to the NFL. And so he said, so when people say come up with a plan B, that makes them feel like like they're gonna fail at what they're attempting to do. And so what I said to him and what I would tell any young man, woman, you know, especially young men who, you know, thinking NFL or NBA or any pro sport, it's not having a plan B. It's just having a plan.
A plan, period. That's right.
It's just having a plan. It doesn't matter that it's, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter because one day it's going to be over, whether it's after college, whether it's after high school, whether it's after the pro, it's going to be over. So it is not a plan B. It's a plan.
It's a plan. That's right. It's a good way of putting it. You know, like I say, it's about explaining. It's not an alternate plan. It's just a plan that's adjacent to your previous plan, your original plan. And even if you do make it to the NFL, we all know the life expectancy is not very long. You know, once you finish and you 26, 28, 30 years old, you still have 20 more years of your life to live. You know, so what are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do? So, well, that's a great way as far as putting it, as far as having a plan, you know, not having a plan A or B.
Not plan A.
Right? That's right. You have too many plans and you just off track. You don't know which way to go.
All over the place. Yeah.
Like you said, if you have a plan,
that's it.
Continue to stay on track and stay on course. But like you said, just make sure that you know things gonna happen. You gotta have something that's adjacent to that plan and keep building.
That's it. I mean, that's kind of the thing with why I said what I said though, is because we're talking about you know, catching a freshman or a sophomore in college, helping them understand like now's the time to be deciding what your major is. Like, you know what I mean? And so having a plan means you know what direction you're going in with that. And so no matter what, when the curtain closes on your sports career, guess what? You can open a new curtain because you've already got what you need behind you. Period.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So yeah, you can tell we're a little passionate about this. Sorry.
I always talk about that piece of advice that Coach. Shout out to Coach Keeper Kelvin. I talk about him all the time on here.
Oh yeah, Keeper.
But junior year, he sat me down and was like, "Man, listen. At some point, you got to show the world that you can do something else."
That's right.
And
at
for
some
me,
point,
yeah, you know what I'm saying. Well, he was like, "Whenever that is." I'm not saying that you won't go and play professionally. You know, you could get injured tomorrow, but at some point, you got to show the world that you can do something else. And he always pressed on me, you know, football is what you do and not who you are. And I think about the reluctance of maybe someone like maybe my high school coaches or even my position coach when I first got to Howard. And maybe thinking that saying something like that, you may not get the best out of your player, right?
That's right.
And everybody takes you know things differently, but I think that him saying that was like a jolt of reality, and I don't think my play was affected by that, or you know what I'm saying, anything like that. But I do think that I started really coming up with a plan after that. Like, okay,
that's right.
What am I going to do? Like, okay, if I do play, the life expectancy, like you said, is what 3 or 4 years. So
that's it.
That puts me at 27.
That's right.
So what happens after that? You know what I'm saying? And so I was grateful for that nugget. You know what I'm saying when I received it, and that's one of the things that I want to make sure that we impress upon these football players. Like, what are you doing afterwards? What is your plan? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you passionate about?
Outside of this. And a lot of times they don't allow themselves that opportunity to even explore that. So that's one of the things that we want to do is help you, give you permission to explore what else you might be passionate about, or things that you've put to the side and said, oh, I can't do that because that's not, you know what I mean?
Right.
So
yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. we could go in on this all day, man.
Yeah.
Now put the cameras on me, 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 put the cameras on me.